Hello students, in my previous classes I have rightly discussed the residential status of an individual, and in that you have studied three different types. One is resident, ordinary resident, and second one is the resident, not ordinarily resident, and third one is the non-resident. Today let me discuss the residential status of Hindu undivided family business in India. And as far as the residential status of the HUF is concerned, here also you will study three different types of the residential status of the Hindu undivided family business. What are those? One is the resident, ordinarily resident. Section 6 subsection 2 state about the resident, ordinarily resident, and second thing is that the resident, not ordinarily resident. Section 6 subsection 6 states about the resident, not ordinarily resident, and third thing is that the non-resident. Non-resident is going to be suggested by section 2 subsection 30. So as far as the resident, ordinarily resident is concerned, it has to satisfy the basic condition as well as both the additional conditions. Then it is so called as the resident, ordinarily resident. So what is that basic condition? If the business of Hindu undivided family is wholly or partly either controlled and managed in India, that is the basic condition. And two additional conditions that we can find here. One is that if the Karta means the head of the Hindu undivided family, the senior most person of the family or the manager of the family is so called as the Karta. Either the Karta or manager of HUF has been in India at least any 2 previous years out of 10 previous years preceding the relevant previous year. That is the first additional condition. And second thing is that Karta has been in India at least 730 days during 7 previous years preceding the relevant previous year. This is the second additional condition. It means that when the HUF is going to satisfy the basic condition and both the additional conditions, then the residence status of the HUF will be resident, ordinarily resident. And second thing is that resident, not ordinarily resident. Section 6 subsection 6 state that when the HUF is going to satisfy the basic condition but does not fulfill both the additional conditions, then it is so called as the resident, not ordinarily resident. And last thing is that non-resident. Section 2 subsection 30 states about the non-resident. When it is so called as a non-resident, when it is not going to fulfill the very basic condition. Very basic condition is that if the business of Hindu undivided family is either controlled and managed in India, that is the basic condition, and if it fails to fulfill the very basic condition, then it is so called as the non-resident. And even it sometimes it so happens that if the business is either controlled and managed out of India, then also it is so called as the non-resident only. So this is the residential status of the HUF. And let me revise once again. Whatever the types of residence status in case of individual that you have seen, more or less the same types of residence status are there speaking with respect to the Hindu undivided family business in India. And in respect of the residence status of the individual, you have seen three different types. Here, speaking with respect to the Hindu undivided family also, you will find three different types. What are those? Resident, ordinarily resident, section 6, subsection 2, resident, not ordinarily resident, section 6, subsection 6, and third thing is that the non-resident, section 2, subsection 30. So these are the three different types of the residence status of Hindu undivided family business in India, and it is so called as the resident, ordinarily resident, ROR, when it is going to fulfill the very basic conditions as well as both the additional conditions. It is so called as the resident, ordinarily resident. And second type is the RNOR, resident, not ordinarily resident, when it is going to fulfill the first basic condition and does not fulfill both the additional conditions, then it is so called as the resident, not ordinarily resident. And it is so called as the non-resident, when it is not going to fulfill the first basic condition, it is so called as the non-resident. So this is the brief literature of residence status of the Hindu undivided family business in India. Please make a note of it. With this I am going to conclude my discussion. Thank you.